Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Appalachian Alliance, a Appalachian take on CBS's Survivor. I am your co-host, Tom Reiser.
And I am Mitchell Church, and we are just so thrilled to be starting this podcast on a but the greatest game ever invented, where you must vote people off, and then at the end, those same people you vote off vote for you for a chance to win $1 million.
It's a game that you both have to be very cutthroat,
Yes.
but at the same time, you have to play the jury in such a way, and it's just a beautiful social experiment. And
Yes.
what I appreciated about it the most really is the surviving in the wild at the same time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because for us being Appalachian, right, we were taught, my grandpa taught me how to live off the land.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
We have to in the area that we live in. It's, shooting squirrel and eating squirrel and how to process deer and rabbit and bear. And that's very common in Appalachia. And it's something that both you and I have talked about, off the podcast. And you're right. You always have that person in your family that teaches you like how to survive, because, West Virginia is a very unforgiving terrain, very much similar to the islands of Fiji or wherever else the cast have been, placed throughout the seasons. But I just really enjoy the outside aspect of it, and it surprises me at some of the moves they make.
Oh, sure. And, how we grew up, I can skin a buck and run a trot line.
Yeah,
right?
Country boy can't survive, baby.
That's right. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, that's how we grew up, and it's very entertaining to me to see these folks from New York City and all around the United States and Canada try to navigate surviving, right?
Yeah, yes. If I'm laying on the beach, I'm not going to be complaining about how hungry I am. I'm going to go fishing. And even if I don't have fishing equipment, I will fasten together something to get me some fish, to get me some protein, because protein's the name of the game in Survivor,
Yeah, there's sticks out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I see this every time. And this is what we're going to do on this podcast. We're going to kind of break this down in an Appalachian / hillbilly way, right? We're going to take things week by week and how we would navigate this game and react to it. So I hope you stay tuned. We've got Survivor 48 happening very soon.
Yeah, very, very soon, and I'm super excited. Last season was a great season, probably one of my favorites of the new era. Great players, great strategies, new achievements. I keep thinking about Saul using that thing, the advantage to, help Rachel, and, he acted completely clueless and stuff. To me, that's bringing back a little bit of a classic Survivor,
Right.
Using advantages the way they, should be used. And also, I just got to give a shout out. Rachel's the first player I've ever seen or know to try to steal rice at a challenge. That's what I would be doing.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
I had a bowl of rice, or a bag of rice there, I'd be trying to steal me some rice, get me some food, because once again, a country boy can't survive. That's
right.
how it is.
You're going to put food in front of me and not expect me to throw some in my pocket.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's dive into what we know of as the cast currently.
Okay.
Have you checked this out yet?
I've skimmed it, but I haven't done a deep dive yet. But I have skimmed the pictures that they've released, and I'm first impressions on some of them. I've already got some winners picked out just by their photo. So, and usually, my train of thought and my luck is that if I pick you, you're going to get voted out. So I never pick the winner. So
right, yeah. So all right, let's start from the top. I did kind of a deep dive today just to prepare for the podcast here, and we'll go through the order of kind of the video that Survivor had up on the website at Paramount Plus. So first off, it's Bianca Roses, which is an interesting last name.
Yeah.
Is that a typo or what? I don't know. I always thought Rose was the last name, but Ellis Island, they butchered those last names anyway.
Yeah,
but
they sure did.
She's 33. She's a PR consultant from New Jersey. Now, she said in her interview that like a lot of great survivors came from New Jersey. Sari, actually, and a few others. So maybe she'll surprise some people. Does PR translate to Survivor?
I think as a PR consultant, and again, this is the counselor in me. I think as a PR consultant, I think how you manage, personal relations and how you manage people and manage situations. I think Bianca here is going to have the social game a little bit. She'll have a little bit more tricks up her sleeve than someone else, maybe, because, handling a PR campaign, you do have to speak to people. You have to get your viewpoint across without hurting their feelings and things of that nature. So I think that being a PR consultant would be an advantage in this game. What do you think?
Especially in the social aspect, because when you're dealing with PR, it's live fire, right?
Oh, yeah.
You may be in front of a crowd, you may be in front of a microphone, and you have to deal with this, that, and the other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, hopefully, that'll work out for her. Now, the second one here, Mr. Cedric McFadden. He's 46, which can be an advantage, but most of the time is a disadvantage here in Survivor when you're, and that's old for this game.
Yes. But we can't forget that age is just a number in Survivor. Let's never forget Gabler the Gator.
That's right.
He waited and waited and waited, and then he played a very good end game and got to the end. So age can be a factor, but it can work for you or against you.
And Gabler, I think, was in the medical field,
yes,
too,
he
right?
was. Yes, just like Cedric here.
Right.
Surgeon.
He's a surgeon. Now, he's a colorectal surgeon.
Okay.
So he knows how to, work with the, I guess I'll say the PR, the buttholes, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He can navigate the buttholes,
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. One thing I will say, though, is that I try not to judge Survivor players by their occupation. But, part of me is still like, oh, he's a surgeon. He don't need $1 million.
Right.
And I hate saying that. But, again, this is the Appalachian hillbilly perspective. Am I going to vote for a surgeon at the end, or am I going to vote for a construction worker, father of three, just trying to, pay for his kids' college?
I'll answer that. No, I'm not going to vote for a surgeon.
Exactly. So surgeon could be an advantage, or it could, if it gets out, it could be a very big disadvantage.
Unless, he is one of those buttholes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It can flip on you.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to 3 here. Charity Nelms, a flight attendant. She's 34.
Okay.
From Monroe, Michigan. Now, she's a flight attendant, but her background, she grew up in the church and went to ministry school.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting.
And then decided to reject that path. Mm-hmm. And now she's a flight attendant. Okay. So will her Christian background hurt her in this game? Because you're gonna have to lie to some folks.
You have to lie. You have to, not necessarily cheat, but sometimes, you have to lie. You have to bald-faced lie to people. It depends on how deep her faith is. I don't think faith would be a question here. If anything, again, if she was going to ministry school, again, that's where communication comes in. That's where working with interpersonal relationships come in, because as ministers and pastors, you have to foster great relationships with your tribe, which is your congregation. So I think if she could use those skills to her advantage along with being a flight attendant, which, let's face it, flight attendants don't get the respect they deserve. They're downplayed in older movies and stuff. So I think I think this is a sleeper. I think Charity might be the one to be like, take the game at the merge. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting.
And, you can those ministers know how to
get information out.
Play to your emotions.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
She knows how to preach it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is,
Well, she could press the button and then tell you, somebody else pressed the button or why they pressed the button. Meanwhile, being the button presser behind, the master controller behind the scenes. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
All right. Well, all right. Number 5 here, Chrissy Sarndowski. Now, she is 55, which is very old for Survivor.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. But she is a fire lieutenant from the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
And she promises that she's not going to be overbearing and says she does not want to be a leader here.
Okay.
But in her interview, she says, I've been a leader everywhere I've gone.
Okay. And again, being a lieutenant, a fire lieutenant, I'm looking at her profile or her Survivor picture here. She looks to be in great shape.
Yeah.
So possibly, great at challenges and stuff like that. But usually, and this is true, if someone tells you they're not a leader, that's the person who's going to take the lead role. They're usually going to piss everybody in the tribe off, and they're usually public enemy number one because everybody else is sick of following their rules. So she probably needs to downplay this whole leadership role and play a more behind-the-scenes game. What do you think, Tom?
I think that's her plan, right? But when you go into these things and you are trying to build a shelter, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to build a shelter, and these people are just talking, not really doing much, and nobody's really working on the shelter. Yeah. Nobody has any direction. I'm afraid this lady is going to give them some direction.
Oh, yeah. Like, hey, you standing there doing nothing, go get me palm fronds, or go get me this tree, go cut down a tree for firewood, or go do this, go do that. I could see that. I could see her taking, that role. If no one else steps up to the plate, I think she'll step up to the plate, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
And I think she could, if she actually goes through with her plan, she could go deep, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if people start leaning on palm trees, and this lady gets upset, she's ripe for a first boot because she's 55. And if she is forceful at all, that's going to rub people the wrong way out there, I think. So, all right, number 5 here, David Kine. I think that's how you say that. Now, he's 39. He's a stunt performer. Okay. He's a stunt man.
Okay. All right.
Now, he says he's going to win more challenges than anybody in Survivor history.
Oh, he just jinxed himself. You never boast like that, because you're not going to play the game that you think you're going to play. You're not. You can imagine a million different scenarios, but as soon as you get on that island and as soon as you see the first challenge, your world might be rocked. Now, he is a stunt performer. He could be a challenge beast. He could be. And that is great motivation to try to win, as many challenges as anybody ever has. But sometimes challenge winners do not win this game, as we've seen.
By and large, they do not. And my prediction here is he's gone pre-merge or just after the merge, because during the portion of the game where tribal strength is an important thing,
yes,
they'll keep him around until he loses
an immunity
and
challenge.
he will lose.
Yes.
It will happen.
Because he's already jinxed himself by saying he's going to win the most.
Well, and even if he does, right?
Well, and not all challengers are physical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful Survivor players of the past. Joe. All of these guys that were dominant physical players.
Joe, Ozzy.
Ozzy was the one I was trying to think of. And Ozzy will never win this game.
No, Joe will never win simply because they're a challenge beast. They know as soon as you don't have that necklace, it's all right. We have to take Joe out, or he's going to the end.
Exactly.
So that might be David's strategy here, is to just try to win every single challenge to get to the end. But winning every challenge doesn't necessarily mean you outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted everybody.
Yeah.
So
good luck.
Good luck.
He's not going to win every challenge, and my prediction is gone either sooner than you think or right after the merge.
Right after merge. I'd agree with that.
I think he's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
He's probably a wild man, so I understand why he's on the show.
Yeah.
All right. So number 6 here, Eva Erickson. Okay. Now, this lady is 24. She's a PhD candidate from Eagan, Minnesota. She is the first survivor to admit that they are diagnosed on the autism spectrum.
Wow, that's a first, I think, ever, right?
Yes.
That's going to be great. But also, I think if she constantly reminds players of that, they're probably going to get sick of hearing it. I can bet you she's probably not the first player to be on the spectrum.
No.
But this is the first player openly admitting to being on the spectrum.
Right.
I'm going to be extremely curious as to how Eva navigates this game while saying, making a public statement like that, being on the spectrum. There's nothing wrong with being on the spectrum at all. Sometimes it could be a great advantage for her, and maybe sometimes it could be a disadvantage. I'm very excited to see how this plays out.
I think her PhD will be in engineering, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I love her. She's got great energy. Okay. She is the first person to play on her university's men's hockey team.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So she's played college hockey in the men's division.
Okay. So this could possibly be a challenge beast to counteract the stunt double.
Exactly.
Or the stunt man.
Stuntman.
Yeah.
So now she does mention that she has a hard time picking up social cues from people because she's on the autism spectrum.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be a huge disadvantage.
Yes.
And I hope that she can overcome this, and maybe she's not as bad at it as she realizes.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I remember there was this. I remember one season where there's a woman who had hearing aids.
Right.
And I respect that. I'm deaf in one ear, and I love the fact that she just showed up to play the game. And but it turns out you couldn't talk strategy with her because you couldn't be silent, and that was her downfall. I would hate to see Eva's downfall be not picking up on certain social cues or anything like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she plays the game and how she navigates the social aspect of the game.
Yeah. My son is on the autism spectrum. I am ADHD and probably undiagnosed, so I'm going to be rooting for this young lady. I hope she does very, very well. I would love it if she won the whole thing. It's gonna be hard for her to do that, but I'm going to be pulling for her just because she's one of my people. Well,
and I think as so far she's got the most peculiar story,
right?
Yeah. So she's in my top 5 as of right now for sure. I could see her making Final 3.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. Somebody could kind of adopt her, right, and help her with that social. Those social cues.
She needs a person. You've seen it in the past. Two people can come together and get to the end. I think Eva's going to need somebody to maybe help her get her there.
Right. All right, so number 7 here, Joe Hunter. He's 45. It's an older cast.
Yeah.
Have you noticed this?
I have.
Joe Hunter is 45. He's another fire captain from Vacaville, California. Another fire captain, which is sort of strange. I mean, you see firemen on the show. We've seen a few of them in the past.
Yeah.
Another guy named Tom.
Yeah.
Was a fire guy. He was a fire captain.
Wasn't Jeremy?
And Jeremy was a fire guy. And there was somebody else that I was thinking of.
Keith?
Keith Nally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Nally was a fire guy. So I think this guy's in great shape. He's got a backstory where his sister was killed in a domestic violence situation.
That's sad.
And so his motivation for trying out for the show is that his sister kind of wanted to do it and was trying to talk him into doing it. And now that she has passed, he's going to step into that. And, having a brother that has passed, I get it, right?
I understand. I understand that very much, and it reminds me of Adam's story a lot. Adam spoke about him and his mom actually going on Survivor together, and then she had cancer and sadly passed away, so he still stepped up to the plate to do it. So that story sounds very similar to me. That's a great story.
Sure.
Wouldn't it be curious if both fire captains got on the same tribe? That would be interesting to watch.
We'll break down the tribe divisions here in a little while, so we'll find out. And they're going to swap tribes at some point, or they're going to merge, right? So that's going to happen. And it is a 3 tribe setup as I know it now.
Okay.
So all right, number 8, Justin Piopi. Piapi? He's 29. He's a pizzeria manager.
Okay.
And, we're not talking just Pizza Hut here or Papa John's.
Yeah.
This is a family restaurant.
Okay.
Right? He's
good pizza.
Yeah. He says he makes the best pizza.
Okay. All right.
So, make us a pie and send it to us, okay?
Yeah.
All the way from Winthrop, Massachusetts. And the sneak kind of back-ended thing with him is he's a former poli-sci major from Yale.
Really? Okay, that is very interesting.
Yeah, and he was going to go on to be a lawyer, I think, and decided to take over the family pizzeria instead. So he did graduate Yale with a poli-sci degree. So he's not an idiot.
No. I see Justin, since he's a pizzeria manager and has that poli-sci background, this could be our social player. This could be the guy who sets everything up for his social game to win. I could see Justin being friends with everybody, and therefore he has all the information.
And he's got a great he's got a great personality, right? From his interviews and things, he's got a great personality.
Okay.
And but you don't know how that's going to transfer on the island.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. There's no pizza on the island.
There is not. No pepperoni. Well, every once you got to win it. Right?
Yeah.
And I bet it's not as good as Justin's.
Yeah, because it don't look that.
No, it always looks awful.
Awful.
But
when you're starving,
former players will back that up. That the food on Survivor is not all that great.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're starving, so.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. All right, number 9 here. Okay. Camilla Carthiejizu.
Okay.
Listen, I'm a hillbilly. I can't say that.
Yeah.
Camilla, we'll call her. She's 31. She's a software engineer.
Hometown, Toronto, Canada.
Canada.
Right.
She's a Canadian, lives in California, though.
Okay.
She is a software engineer, and this lady gives me strong, like, Marianne vibes.
I get that. I can see that. Okay.
She's not going to be a big physical player, but I think her social game is what's going to get her by, and she might be great at puzzles, right?
Okay.
Which is always a fantastic thing in Survivor if you can work these puzzles, and she's a software engineer, so maybe that will transfer, right?
We'll see. In the way I'm seeing it is that, software engineer, I agree absolutely. That's that I would pick a software engineer to do my puzzles, okay?
Yeah.
For
sure.
And I could see Camilla here being like a Sandra strategist. You know what I mean?
Possibly, yeah.
Like I'm going to stay in the back and strategize,
Right.
And then just find out various scenarios, and then I know how to get to the end.
Yeah.
I can see that from Camilla here.
And she's very personable, right? That's why I got the Marianne vibes that everybody's probably going to love this young lady.
Yeah.
So, it helps a lot if you're likable.
Yes. Oh, yes. You want everybody to like you.
Yeah, for sure. But not everybody. If everybody likes you,
Then you're out.
Yeah. They're like, hey, we can't beat Camilla, right?
Yeah.
So she's got to go.
Yeah.
All right, so number 10, Kevin Leong. He's 34. He's a finance manager from Fremont, California. And the first thing he's talking about is how he's going to use the coconut milk to do his hair every day.
Oh, my God. Okay, listen. Hillbilly 101. You do not waste food. Coconut milk has nutrients that you need.
Yeah.
Yes, it might give you the runs here and there, but I would not use coconut milk as a hair shampoo or conditioner or hair spray or whatever, hair gel. No, God, no.
He wants his hair to be perfect. The werewolf of London is what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But this guy, he kind of gives you the what was the guy's name? It totally left me. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Yule.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This guy's he's in good shape.
Yes.
And he's a very smart guy. He's switched occupations a few times, so he's very versatile.
Okay.
He could be a sleeper.
Okay.
Right? But I think him worrying about his hair is going to get in the way.
That quote reminds me from the season where they did white collar, blue collar, and no collar. He's very much white collar if he's worried about his hair.
Yeah, for sure.
All
right, number 11, Kyle Frazier. He's 31. He's an attorney from Roanoke, Virginia. That's semi-Appalachian?
Yeah, semi, yeah.
Just outside of town, into town there in Roanoke. I've spent some time in Roanoke. And he's a defense lawyer, right?
Okay.
He likes working with different kinds of people. He talks about how he grew up in a predominantly African-American community, but he also went to school in a predominantly white kind of European situation, right?
Yeah.
So he's he can kind of blend between two worlds,
okay,
right? And maybe that will be to his advantage. We'll see how Kyle Frazier does.
We'll see how he plays out. I'm looking forward to, again, being an attorney and working with people. I think he'd be a great social player.
All right, Mary Zhang. She's 31, and she's a substance abuse counselor in Montgomery Village, Maryland. And this lady, she comes off and she says, "I'm going to play like Ben."
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was
All
her.
right.
I'm going to play like Ben.
Play like Ben.
And so she backpacked and hitchhiked around for a year.
Okay.
Around America.
Okay.
And then she started talking to these different people, and she's like, well, maybe I should get into, talking to people for a living.
Yeah.
And so now she's a substance abuse counselor. Her first job was at a methadone clinic, I believe. And
that's great.
She's fearless, right? Her parents says, it would be good if she had a little fear of somebody,
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's going to be an advantage, and she's very personable.
Okay.
She speaks very well. She's funny. I think this lady could be a possible winner.
Okay. All right.
In my opinion.
Well, I agree with that. In the past, we've seen counselors and therapists on the show. I don't. The only one that I remember winning was Denise. She was a therapist. So the counselor in me, I'm always curious about how they use counseling in the game. And, being a substance abuse counselor, you were talking to people at their absolute worst and you were trying to uplift them. So she could be that, she could use that to her advantage if somebody's having a bad day on the island or whatever, or right before tribal or a challenge or something. She could very well give them the pep talk they need to push through. So I would agree with your statement, Tom. I could see Mary being, she's definitely going to make the merge.
And then that's important, right?
Yes.
If you help somebody out there get through the next day, they're not going to forget that.
No.
So I like her. She's one of my favorites. So number 13 here, Mitch Guerrera. He's 34. He's a PE coach from Waco, Texas.
Okay.
And he's got a very strong stutter.
Okay.
That's what I noticed to begin with. And I'm pulling for him, right?
Oh,
because he has giant cojones to just get out there and get on TV with this stutter, right? And it's gonna be tough for him, though. I think it's gonna be tough for him, just like the lady that had the loss of the hearing.
Yes,
it's gonna be tough for him. I'm pulling for him. It's gonna be an uphill battle.
I'm pulling for him as well. Being a PE coach, again, that's, being in education, you have to navigate many interpersonal relationships with your students and things of that nature. And being a PE coach, he must be physically fit. So, so I think that'll be his biggest drawback is, again, social.
Right.
We've seen, as far as looking through here, we've seen potentially great social players and potentially great physical players. I think he falls into the latter category of great physical players.
Right. And at the same time, if you have a disability of any sort, sometimes that can work in your advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people will rally around you and say, man, this guy, he's got an uphill battle, right?
Yeah.
We should help him out. And then all of a sudden this guy has beaten the pants off of you.
Yeah, turn
right?
the tables on you real quick.
So, all right, number 14, Cy Ugly. She is 30. She's a marketing professional, hometown of Philly, Pennsylvania. She lives in Semi Valley, California.
Okay.
First off, she says, I hold grudges.
Wow.
I hold grudges.
Okay,
and I cannot let go of them.
Well, you might have to, because in this game, the enemy today is not necessarily the enemy tomorrow. We've seen that time and time again. It all started on Millennials versus Gen X when we saw voting blocks starting to shape up.
Yep.
And that has kind of continued in some seasons.
Yeah.
Again, like I just said, you can't hold a grudge, because if somebody writes your name down, night one, they might be writing your name down on night, the final night at tribal. So,
exactly.
She needs to not hold. I would not go into this game holding grudges. I think that's a disadvantage. What do you think?
I think it's a disadvantage. She says she can be very reactive to folks too. What will work to her advantage, I think, she worked in media. So she was on air in a on-air TV personality at some point. So that's going to help her. So all right, let's move on. This lady's going to have to do some soul searching to get very far in this game. Number 15, Sean Davari. He's 38. He's a debate professor.
Wow.
From East Bay, California.
Okay.
I think he's Persian.
Okay.
And he's a very charismatic gentleman, and he knows debate.
Yeah, fixing his mustache. Yeah, he just looks like the guy that wants to argue. which
sure.
You know, I mean, can be a good thing in Survivor, and
right.
it could be a very bad thing. But again, I'm seeing a lot of social players this season. I'm seeing a lot of people with good social potential. So there could be some conniving and backstabbing, and which makes such a great season of Survivor.
For sure. All right, so let's move on. Number 16, Star Toomey. And this screenshot's not very good, but
okay.
She's 28. She's a sales expert. Now, this lady is a star.
She looks very, energetic in
this
picture.
She is very energetic. She's very outgoing. She is a basketball player, a former basketball player from Liberia.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Okay. She currently lives in Augusta, Georgia. A lot of people say that she is annoying. She says that she can be annoying. Possible first boot. If you're annoying, that doesn't help you.
Yeah, that, if you have that label on you, if you put yourself on, as that label of, oh, hi, I'm really annoying, you can't do that in this game. You cannot do that in this game.
No, you can't.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Star plays this game. Again, sales expert at 28. Again, that's knowing people. That's knowing how to talk to people. So she might use that to her advantage to get out of whatever annoying situation she got herself into. But she looks like a ball of energy. I'm excited to see how she's going to play the game.
Yeah, she's going to be entertaining, for one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And an ex-basketball star, right, from Liberia. Yeah. If you come from a different country and you come here, it takes a lot of gumption. So, we'll see how she does. Number 17, Stephanie Berger. She's 38. She's a tech product lead in New York, New York. I got really good vibes from her.
Okay.
Now, I did see her being interviewed on the CBS Sunday morning show.
Okay.
They did one of their correspondents went out to the island and interviewed, Jeff Probst and did, tried out a challenge. And this was the young lady that they interviewed.
Okay.
I don't know what that says. Could be first boot. Could be winner.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know.
We don't know. What does that mean, right?
Tech product lead. Again, I hate to say it, but I mostly judge. I try not to judge, but I take into account their occupation. This could be a puzzle. Again, this could be a strategist. She's super smart, savvy in tech, strategy. Maybe very social. But you never know. She could be the challenge beast this season. That's why we love Survivor so much, is that everything you think about these players, you're probably going to be proven either right or wrong eventually. So.
And this lady likes to be in charge. Another thing that she said before she came out to the island, she was doing billion-dollar deals on the phone. Does this lady need $1 million?
Not in my book.
I wouldn't vote for her.
No.
So she better keep that under her hat.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, Thomas Crottinger. He's 34. He's a music exec in L.A. as his current residence. He's from the Woodlands, Texas.
Okay, so we got a Texas boy here. Texas have hillbillies, not like West Virginia hillbillies, but they have hillbillies. They have, guns, and they eat steak and all that good stuff. So that could help him some. But me being a musician and seeing a music executive on Survivor trying to win $1 million, hard pass. Okay, so I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm sorry, buddy, but you have probably crushed more dreams than you getting on Survivor. Okay?
And just from his interview, I don't think he's the type to skin a buck and run a trot line, even though he's from Texas.
Yeah.
Maybe he grew up that way. You don't judge a book by its cover. This guy's very obsessive, though. He obsesses over things, and he's seen every episode of Survivor more than once, he says. So maybe he's going to be, a strategist. Who knows?
Well, I mean, I've read every Dark Tower book, but I'm no Stephen King. So I'm sorry, Thomas, buddy. And, I just, music executive in today's world, nah, not for me.
All right, so we'll run through these 3 tribes real quick, and we'll wrap it up. I think we've gone long enough. You guys don't want to hear us talk anymore, right? Of course you do. All right, so the Vula tribe.
Vula.
Stephanie Berger, that's the tech exec. Cy Ugly. Justin Piapi, that's the pizza guy.
Pizzeria guy,
Mary Zhang.
Is that the counselor?
Yes, I do believe.
Okay.
Mary
All
Zhang.
right.
Cedric McFadden. That would be the colorectal guy, I do believe.
Yes.
Kevin Leong,
That's the coconut milk hair.
He wants his hair to be perfect.
Yeah, his Farrah Fawcett hair.
Now, I like this
think it's
tribe.
pretty balanced
This
tribe,
is a pretty,
honestly.
yeah. This is a pretty good tribe. They might be in the running, and I might be pulling for the Vulva tribe. That's the green tribe, as you can see.
Yeah.
So the Lagi tribe, Star Toomey, which is our basketball player from Liberia.
All right.
Bianca Roses, Joe Hunter, Eva Erickson, and Thomas Crottinger. Okay. That's the music exec there, and then Shion Davari
he's
on
the
the
debate
Lagi.
professor,
He's the
correct?
debate professor.
Yeah. Again, well balanced tribe, both physically and socially. I think. What color is that? Purple or is it?
I think it's more purple.
Purple. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Than anything.
Because that's usually the merge color, but.
And Eva Erickson, that's our autistic hero there. So,
yes.
Let's it's still a very good tribe, I think.
Good
and
balance.
Now the Siva tribe, the orange tribe.
Okay.
David Kine, Camilla Carthiasishu. That's the Indian. I think she's of Indian descent.
Yeah.
Mitch Guerrera, Charity Nelms, and Chrissy Sarndowski. Okay, round out this tribe. Now, they do have the David Kine guy, but this tribe seems a little physically disadvantaged, maybe?
Yeah, like is David the one who boasted he's going to win every challenge?
Yes.
Then he got put on a tribe where that might not come actually true because I think the other 2 tribes are more balanced in physical versus strategical. So just by looking at these photographs, I think the Siva tribe is, or Siva, however they say it. I think this tribe is at a more of a physical disadvantage. What would you say?
That's exactly my take. I think they're going to have to rely on David Kine for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I may be wrong.
Yeah.
Now, very quickly, who's your winner pick or picks?
Who's my winner pick? Okay. I'm going to go with, let's see here. Stop. I'm going to go with Mary Zhang and keep going. And I'm going to go, hold on. And I'm going to go with Camilla. Mary and Camilla. That's my 2.
Okay. Now, I'm going to agree with you with Mary. Okay. Mary Zhang, right. I think, is very, she's a strong player on the outset, right? Mm-hmm. We'll see how she does. Now, my heart tells me Eva Erickson, and I hope she runs the board. I would love to see an autistic survivor win the whole thing. I think she's very tough, and if she can overcome that, social game roadblock, and she may be better at it than you think.
Yeah,
right?
Again, I mean, we are just going off of pictures and information we've not seen.
Right.
We won't know until the episode airs. So
exactly.
So to recap, we've discussed our new players this season. We've discussed, why we're doing this podcast to give you the Appalachian hillbilly perspective of 2 great fans of this game. And we've already picked our, our winner picks. So
as I've stated,
as I've stated before, if I pick them, they're usually gone first. So I hope that's not the case this year.